Welcome to another episode of Popcorn and Whiskey. We're your hosts, Mac Francis.
And I'm Joe Miller.
And once again, we are here talking about movies, talking about whiskey. Mostly movies.
What?
Mostly movies.
Whiskey's an added bonus.
Today we're doing John E. Fitzgerald's Larceny. It's a cool name, cool bottle. I actually had a friend come visit us in LA, and he brought me this, and I was like, I had never had it before, and it's really nice. It's a Kentucky Straight, very special small batch, as they like to call it. It's kind of like a butterscotchy almost. Yeah. And it's like the color, we're doing one giant sphere of a globe.
That's right.
To just soak it up like all the goodness.
Yeah. And the fun fact, like the ice cube is, the bigger the ice cube is, the less time it takes to melt and bruise the whiskey. It keeps the whiskey cold, but it doesn't destroy the whiskey in the process.
You can like see the it just changing complexities on there.
Well, you know what? And I noticed something that you said earlier about your friend brought you whiskey, and I think that's really important for our friends to bring us whiskey.
Please. Especially ones that are like obscure and hard to find, because and I have a lot of whiskey friends that they share the same love. So even if it's like one that if you're not going to bring it, which you should, if you're not, at least tell us what the hell it is so we can find it for ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be the hard part, is like getting a new one every week. Tough job.
Cheers. It's, someone's got to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Ooh.
How good is that?
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's the very end of it.
Oh, it's delicious.
So I'm going to put this here, and I'm just going to drink the bottle.
So this is, they use wheat as a secondary grain instead of rye.
Ooh.
So it's like, it makes the bourbon like very smooth. It doesn't have that kind of like on the back, like
right
on the back end.
Yeah, usually, like, I'm all about some rye bourbon, so right on.
Yeah. So Larceny, 92 proof. Can't tell. It's like, it goes down smooth though. It's not like.
No, yeah,
We'll probably have to refill during the episode. Most likely.
I mean, science.
So this week, I actually kind of want to get a little bit drunk before we talk about the movie that we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
Which we walked out of the movie theater to go to the bathroom, and we were both like, no more sad movie. Like, it was so depressing. We saw the Amy Winehouse documentary called Amy.
It's called Amy, yeah.
It was so sad, like, and we knew the ending. She dies, and we knew that. Spoiler alert.
It's just like.
But it was like, and we both like love Amy Winehouse's music. Like, we're huge fans of her music. So
Back to Black, Tony, Bennett.
So I think
so good.
For us, we wanted to go see this because we both love Amy Winehouse, and I mean, of course, it's a tragedy when anyone dies, and especially when someone dies before their time. Especially when somebody dies when they're freaking 27 years old. Like, what the hell?
And there's been like a long line of musicians that they call it the 27 Club, but it's they die when they're 27 years old. That's so young.
So young.
And incredibly sad.
It was like, we knew it going into it, obviously.
Well, yeah.
What happens at the end, and I was almost like getting nervous watching it because I forgot like what the date was, what the year was. So every time they would like hit a scene, the entire documentary is all chronological. So it starts like the opening scene and the ending scene were just awesome. Like, the opening scene is her singing Happy Birthday to a friend, and she had to be like 15 or 16 years old.
16.
And it was just so cool. Like, the footage that they had, the like just home video stuff was just incredible.
It was almost unreal. And honestly, like when I was watching the movie, I thought to myself, like, man, whoever they hired to play her,
right, really looks just like she would have looked.
Like, every single video you saw of her, every single home movie, or obviously the press, or whatever, it was her. It was all about her. It wasn't they filmed some scenes to play her backstory. It was her.
Yeah, it was the footage that they had in this movie was just incredible. Like stuff in the car, stuff when she was like waking up in the morning. Like they just, it makes me like wish that I would record more stuff. Like
yeah, like I've heard a lot of people being down on selfies and recording videos of just like randomness and of themselves doing like just normal things.
Yeah, people are always like, oh, like you should live in the moment and this and that, and it's like, thank God that they taped all that stuff. Like you were literally transported into her little circle of friends and before she was famous, and it was so cool.
It was awesome just being in her world, and it not just in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Not just what the media, deemed as, recording worthy or
exactly.
whatever.
It wasn't just her concert footage. It wasn't just her live at the Grammys or something like that.
Yeah.
It was legit hit you home, like stuff that you would never see.
Right.
I didn't realize how incredibly funny she was.
Oh, she's it makes me miss her like so much more.
She's like a huge goofball, which I had no clue, because she's such a like deep, disturbed, like troubled jazz singer, like musician. You never see that other side. You think that's it. That's like she's pouring out this side of her. You never even think that she's this like bubbly, like charismatic, like would joke with everybody, like.
She would probably
dances all the time, sings everything. Like
she would be the kind of person that I would love in my group.
Oh yeah, of course.
She was incredibly talented, and just to get on a soapbox, because I do this sometimes, but it kind of shows you that celebrities are not superheroes.
Yeah,
they're human, and they have human emotions and feelings, and it was incredible to see like that, not really complete, but like the majority of her life from a different perspective, instead of just what you see in the media, what you see in magazines, tabloids, and all that jazz, and what comedians joke about.
Yeah, I mean, I was almost like. So the way that the documentary works, it starts off before anyone even knew who she was, basically. And she played these like little shows, and she finally writes this album. It's basically about this guy who broke up with her. That was her first album. Frank, that was her first album called Frank?
Her first album was Frank.
And then it like chronologically follows her life till her death, and the way that they portrayed the way that the media turned on her at the end was just like, what? And I remember kind of it unfolding and being like, what the hell? Like, she's going off the deep end, like, because she was with the guy Blake, which they showed in the documentary, all bloodied up, like out on the town. Yeah, and they were like, he had blood all over his face. She had like bandages on her arms. Her makeup was smeared and everything. It was just like, it was sad. I mean. At the same time, the parts of the movie that were just so incredible, like they basically would talk about something that happened in her life, like she broke up with some guy that she was in love with, and then they have her in the studio, and she's singing this song, and the lyrics are popping up on the thing, and I was like, how cool is this? Like, it was so cool.
Yeah, and now, I mean, like, Back to Black was, some of the songs are inspired by what she was going through, and it's a lot of musicians do that, but like she was one of the true new jazz musicians of our generation. And I
mean, the things that Tony Bennett was saying about her, he was like she needs to be revered like Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday and stuff like that, like coming from Tony Bennett, who he's probably played with half of them,
You know,
That's
it's
just incredible. It's
one
incredible.
I like behind the scenes videos. You know, I watched her do when she accepted her Grammy awards, and I watched
The one where she was in London still?
yeah. I watched that video, and the only perspective I saw was what the Grammy Awards showed,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
when it was televised. And I like the fact that she was like, you finally got to see what she did behind the scenes.
Oh, like this in that particular scene that they basically had the camera on her before she knew she won, and when she saw Tony Bennett come up on the stage and she was like she was like a little kid, like, and it was just so genuine and so moving that scene, like when she won. I don't even think she really even cared about the Grammy. She was like,
She saw one of her idols.
and her idol was the one that presented her first Grammy. Like, how freaking cool is that?
Presented her first Grammy, and that was the moment that she became, you know, Amy Winehouse across the world.
like a household name. And yeah, I mean, the movie was sad, for sure, just because you witnessed her downfall. And once again, it wasn't. I mean, they had like a concert footage of hers that was on the news. I actually remember seeing it on the news when it happened. She was basically too wasted to perform.
Serbia.
The Serbia one, yeah. And they had the footage of that, and it was like just crazy to see again. Like, so it was hard to like watch somebody fail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was tough to be like, you wanted to be like, you wish you were there, and you wish you could like walk her off the ledge, kind of thing.
Be like, hey, it's okay.
Yeah,
We-
like
you know.
you can get help, or you can. I mean, I almost felt like sitting in there like helpless because you knew what was going to happen. There was nothing you could do about it. It's like, you know.
Here's what I'll say about the movie. And this movie is completely different, obviously, because it's a documentary and everything really happened in her life. But, you know, here's the problem I had with this movie. Not really the movie itself, but just watching the movie. If you go to a real movie, a regular movie, not a real movie, regular movie, like scripted and written.
Yeah.
You know, you go in there and you can emotionally get attached to the movie, but at the end of the day, you're like, well, that wasn't real, so it was written by this one.
Yeah, even if it's like a based on a true story,
Right.
crap. It's
Because
like,
they always change things in the
Yeah.
movies like
yeah,
that.
this wasn't based. This was the true story.
And
yeah.
you can't help but leave and feel either depressed or bummed out. Or I
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
like, when I left, it took me, you know, I was bummed out for a
Oh.
long time.
I mean, like, actually on the way home, I was playing Amy because at that point I was like, I wanted to re-listen some of her songs that I wanted to hear her like pouring out whatever she had gone through.
Yeah. I put the Back to Black album on.
Oh yeah, like, yeah. So the soundtrack is incredible, obviously.
You know.
And I thought they did a good job with compiling the footage. I thought they did a good job of getting all those people together for her.
Yeah.
You know, like, I didn't. First of all, she was friends with Mos Def. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell? Did anybody know that?
No.
And I love
Really
Mos
didn't,
Def. Like,
yeah.
I'm a huge Mos Def fan, and nothing. I knew nothing of the two of them ever knowing each other, never being seen together. He basically in the movie was like, "Oh yeah, she played in London this time, and I was saw her, and I kind of had a crush on her."
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? Mighty Mos?
I mean,
Yeah, I was blown away by their friendship, which it makes total sense. Like, he's a total jazz nut, and Questlove was in it too. Freaking love Questlove, and he was talking about like he thought he was a jazz head until he met her.
Oh,
and he
yeah.
was like, I know nothing.
The
He's like, I thought I had
roots.
my PhD in jazz,
right.
and like Amy Winehouse is way above
the roots are huge.
huge.
And could you imagine what they could have done?
Oh,
You know, they could have gone like so many different ways with it, and
yeah. I mean, we made a pact to at least
never.
yeah.
Well,
We'll know for the most part if if something's gonna be said. I mean, we basically knew the outcome of this, and we tortured ourselves for 2 hours to watch it. But at the same time, like, I'm glad I saw it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I was moved, which, I think that if a movie, it's the compilation of how they put it together moved me. So I think it wasn't just her. It was the way it was told. It was the way it wasn't like back and forth. It literally started at a date and it ended at a date.
right. Yeah, there were several times during the movie where I thought to myself, it's like, no, you can do this differently, and you can, I don't know, and then I teared up because
Yeah, it's like it was tough to watch. It was
movies.
definitely tough to watch.
I would recommend it.
I would definitely recommend it. I probably won't torture myself to see it a second time.
Probably won't see it again.
I will be listening to her music all the time.
Yeah,
And
maybe
now
even
when
more
I
so.
listen to her music, I will be seeing her struggle. Like, I'll be seeing her pain now firsthand. And I almost feel like I wish there was more documentaries about other musicians that I feel like have gone through the same struggle. Like, it would be great to see. Like, if they made like a Bradley Noel, like, Sublime documentary or something like that. Like, I mean, there's a couple good ones that just came out. The Kurt Cobain one was really good that just came out. Yeah, I mean, first of all, like, that sort of addiction is not easy for
Not at all.
a regular person who
No.
doesn't have access to hotel rooms, and
Right, and then you add like
you add the
media,
fame, yeah.
paparazzi,
Oh.
and there is
this I loved about the movie. Her genuine, like, bitch face when she was not having it was so perfect. There was like there was a reporter who asked her, oh yes, your album is just like Dido's album, this and that, and she looked at her like, bitch.
she started like playing with her lips.
She started like picking her teeth.
She was like, "Nah, I'm out."
Yep, I've checked out.
It's like, I don't even care.
Yeah, like, you're comparing me to fucking Dido, whatever her name is. Like, yeah, see ya. Deuces. I like that though. I loved how, like, real she was. She was like, basically like, you're either with me or against me. You're either gonna judge me off the bat. And there were times where she was, like, very, like, cordial about her response. She was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then she would be like, but she would also realize it. And I love that, too, about the movie. She would be in the middle of a sentence, and then she would be like, that was really mean of me. Or, like,
Yeah.
I took it to a different level that I didn't think I was going to. Or, like, when she was recording Back to Black. And I love that. At the end, she was like, she kept saying black. Like, Back to Black or whatever.
Wow, that was kind of down. That was
Right?
dark.
She's like, it ended really depressing.
Yeah. Or when she was with Tony Bennett, she was like, no,
Like, it has
we have
to
to
be
keep
perfect.
doing this.
Yeah, like, because she's like, I can't let my idol down. Like, I have to, like, just save face.
And then, in a sense, like, Tony Bennett was like, you're jazz. Like, you're future of it. And
Tony Bennett was like, girl, whatever you're doing, do it. Because I'm like, I almost wanted a Tony Bennett special on her. Because I feel like, I almost wanted more Tony Bennett. That would maybe be my only thing to say, like, they could have done better, is because, like, everything else, like, you're hearing from her boyfriend or manager and this, like, that, but, like, somebody who's been there, like, somehow Tony Bennett has lasted all those years without getting pulled into, the heavy drugs, and, like, he's been what, a superstar for 5 decades.
Oh yeah, he's been around forever, and I still catch the occasional Tony Bennett.
I'm gonna re-up.
So often. Yes, please. What I took away from this documentary and this movie was she was real.
She was,
and not. I mean, of course, she's a real person, and media portrays her as some kind of superhero because she's a celebrity, but she was real.
She was so real.
She didn't
She
put on
was
a
so
face.
genuine. Yeah.
You know, she didn't put on this, you know, big front that, you know, most celebrities have to put on when they go out in public. You know? And she was real with her music. She was real with everything.
Yeah, and I think like rating wise, I think we were both talking about this. I think like a 3 is kind of where I want to leave it, because I want to give it like a 6 because I felt like it blew me away. And it I mean, for you said you were like sad, you know,
I was sad
after
for a while.
Yeah, and like
know?
it's still sad. It's sad to even talk about, but I guess there's ways they could have maybe portrayed it differently and like whatever, but it's not even about that. Like what the amount of footage that they compiled, the amount of interviews that they brought, it was just incredible. And the way that they did it chronologically instead of all over the place, and they didn't go from like one big event to the next big event. You know, they did like the little stuff. They did like her on vacation with her dad in St. Lucia and like stuff like that. Like I thought it was incredible, and we haven't given out any 4s yet. No, we haven't. No. So we're doing a hefty 3 for Amy. Boo, I will fucking pour out a whole bottle for you because mad love and respect. And yeah, it gave me chills for sure a lot of times, and we walked out of there sad for
Tears
sure.
And
yeah. We love you, Amy. You changed music for sure. Next week we're gonna check out something a little more happy, maybe the Minions after that, because
Ant-Man.
Oh, or Ant-Man. Yeah. I want to see both.
I want to see Minions.
Yeah, I want to see Minions too.
Wait.
I mean, I love the Minions as their own little space in Despicable Me. So if they have their own movie, I feel like I'll freak out.
I will say this much: this is the only corporation that I've seen as far as like what's that guy, Gru?
What?
From Despicable Me?
Oh yeah.
Gru.
I don't know. I like the little girl Agnes.
Well, he knew all his minions' names, and he knew like over 200.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But no, I want to see Minions, and
I mean, we'll get to Ant-Man too. I'm sure we gotta see it. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's Paul Rudd. I mean,
you know what? It's a lottery right now. It's toss up in the air. Minions or Ant-Man. You'll have to watch the next episode.
Yeah, we'll see. So. It'll probably be both. Maybe Southpaw in there too.
Maybe
there's a bunch of good movies coming out.
Like really is.
Yeah.
There's
like Sherlock Holmes coming out. And
Straight Outta Compton.
Which
I'm really excited about.
It's gonna be a busy summer, y'all.
I mean,
please send us some whiskey. So yeah, thanks for checking out another episode of Popcorn and Whiskey. We are on YouTube, YouTube/Popcorn and Whiskey. If you want to come on the show, email us. I think we're popcornwhiskey@gmail.
Popcornandwhiskey@gmail.
Popcornandwhiskey@gmail. And most of you that watch us are our friends. We love you. Keep watching, share, subscribe.
Tell your kids. Tell your wife.
Yeah, all them.
Hide your kids.
Yeah, don't hide them. Tell them.
No,
tell them. Share them. Subscribe them.
Send us whiskey.
Yes, please.
And Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
We haven't shot yet.
We haven't shot the Ant-Man yet, but Joe is already inviting you.
But
he wants you to wear your This Is 40 leotard on your bike. Because we live in the canyon, and I know you got shot over at Canyon School. Don't try to fool me.
All right.
We'll see you next week.
Peace. That was fun.